Hey, proof of reserves. It is being peddled as kind of almost a panacea for, preventing disasters that we saw in the FTX Alameda SBF disaster. My name is Blockchain Bernie. I'm broadcasting live from sunny San Diego. With proof of reserves, I have a very special opinion on it. And it is kind of helpful, but all those luminaries tweeting about it these days, even SBF himself, Sam Bankman-Fried, tweeting about it, watch out for proof of reserves and all these things. I would almost say proof of reserves in itself is almost worthless. But, definitely proof of reserves is better than no proof of reserves, put it that way, right? But why is it almost worthless? Because reserves is kind of part of the assets of a company, right? It's kind of a position in the balance sheet, and we own assets, and we categorize these assets as reserves, right? They are there when people want to get back their deposits. We have the reserve and we can pay out the deposits, right? And that's what everyone wants after we saw that implosion of the FTX and Alameda empire, right? So, but what we also need is proof of liabilities, or should I better say proof of not having liabilities, or proof of having less than X liabilities. Because think about, you prove that you have $1 billion in reserves, but then on the other hand, you have 999 million in liabilities. And let's say those liabilities become due tomorrow, right? So you can have a loan of 999 million, or you could have a loan of 1.2 billion, right? Only have reserves of 1 billion. And then the liabilities become due tomorrow and all your reserves are suddenly gone. So that's why, the reserves alone are not saying much. And then, if it becomes more popular for, regular investors to look at the proof of reserves, and then all the companies, all the exchanges, the centralized exchanges know, oh, that's what everyone's looking at. They will make sure they have a lot of reserves, and all those bad actors, they will just have a lot of liabilities as well, and then make you think they have a lot of reserves. And yeah, it doesn't help much, right? So how about proof of liabilities? You've seen that a lot also being discussed right now in the crypto community. But hey, it has to be kind of a disproof of liabilities, right? We'd have to prove that we don't have liabilities. We'd have to prove that maybe we have liabilities, but no more than X. How can we prove that, right? I can prove to you easily I have a title in my hand, right? But I cannot prove to you easily that a title doesn't exist or things like that, right? Or that I don't own any other stuff, right? It's difficult to prove that, something is missing, right? That I don't have, if I have something in my possession, I can show it to you. If I don't have something in my possession, it's hard to prove that, I don't have it at all. It might be somewhere in my closet or, So what's the way out? I mean, for all these crypto exchanges, if they are operated as a centralized organization, right? They are just a regular company. And in the case of crypto exchanges, they are almost not regulated at all, right? And maybe a tiny bit, but they are not nearly as regulated as regular banks, right? And even in regular banks, if you have money in the bank and the bank goes bankrupt, you're not by default protected. You're only protected when the bank has insurance against it. And there's the FDIC insurance that you might have heard of. And it usually goes up to $250,000. So anything more than $250,000 is, would just be gone when the bank goes bankrupt. The same as with any crypto exchange, right? But banks are, way tighter regulated. There is this FDIC insurance and all these things. But with actual proof, we could get that proof of liability, proof of having no more than X liabilities, if the organization is basically a decentralized organization. If it's a DAO or if it's a DEX, right, a decentralized exchange, decentralized autonomous organization, then all the rules of the exchange, all the rules of the bank, of the company, are being run by code other than by people, right? So with people, whatever they have in mind, whatever contracts they engaged with other parties, what liabilities they engaged in, it's hard to prove that there is nothing that they don't, that they've told us everything, that we just cannot prove that, right? But if it's a decentralized organization and we say, okay, here's the code, it's all open source, right? So if that organization has liabilities, they would have to be in the smart contracts because, that's all the code looks into. So if we go for DEXs and, it could be more complex things, right? It could be, centralized. We need centralized exchanges to do the on-ramp and off-ramp of fiat money. And there could be a centralized exchange that does that, but, submits itself into being traceable on the blockchain and, just confirming that, all the assets and all the liabilities and all their balance sheet is reflected on the blockchain. So they would kind of voluntarily open source all their accounting onto the blockchain, which they could do, and there's solutions for that. However, with current blockchain technologies, if you do all the accounting on the blockchain, that will require a lot of storage. And most of these smart contract chains are not built for storage, which brings me, to my own thing, Bitoku. I'm the founder and CEO of Bitoku. We're building a storage layer for blockchain, and that would make these things possible, right? So with our storage layer that we're building, it would be easy to outsource all the accounting to the blockchain. Not really outsource, but, just voluntarily submit yourself as an organization to say, okay, these are our books, right? And they are on the blockchain. And there can be copies of receipts on the blockchain, right? Which is all not possible with regular smart contract blockchains. You would need a storage layer for that. And we're building that storage layer. It's bitoku.io. See the link in the description. And with that, we can have organizations that are 100% traceable on the blockchain. And with those, we can really prevent the disasters that we've seen, right? Until then, obviously look for any signs, if they submit themselves to proof of reserves voluntarily, that's definitely a good sign, but it's far from being a guarantee, right? And look for everything else. Who are the people that run this shop? Don't leave too much money in centralized exchanges for too long of a time. I've been doing it only for the on-ramp and off-ramp, but then otherwise, store my crypto in my own wallets, in my own crypto wallets, where I have the private keys. And that's the whole idea of crypto, right? Crypto was not meant for you to give your private keys to a centralized organization, right? That defies the whole purpose of crypto. All right, I hope you found this video interesting. Tune in regularly. I'm live streaming 3 times a week. The schedule is down in the description. Please give this video a like so that more people can see it. Subscribe to my channel, and catch you later. Bye.